In sharp contrast, India is growing in stature, playing host to not one, not two, but 10 world leaders. It's another first in the country's 68-year-old history as a republic. 10 world leaders will be chief guests at the Republic Day celebrations in New Delhi this Friday. India will showcase its military might to ASEAN leaders, including state-of-the-art weapons and missile systems and indigenously manufactured armament that India hopes to export in the future. India's attempt to transform its ties with ASEAN comes at a time when the geopolitical center of gravity is shifting to the Indo-Pacific, and needless to say, there is much at stake for both South and Southeast Asia in the emerging regional dynamic. WION's Ramesh Ramachandran has more.
पूरे पाकिस्तान में हमारे मराकज़ का जायजा लिया जाए, हर जगह.
Round of applause.
As Sushma Swaraj said, among the many things that bind ASEAN to India are Buddhism and Ramayana. At a gala dinner in New Delhi on Tuesday, her ASEAN guests had a special request. Brunei's foreign minister wanted the musicians entertaining guests to play the song Kuch Kuch Hota Hai from the Shah Rukh Khan starrer by the same name.
Mr. Lim Jok Hoi, Secretary General.
While the ASEAN Secretary General, who also happens to be from Brunei, wanted to hear Bol Radha Bol Sangam Hoga Ki Nahi from the film Sangam starring Raj Kapoor. As the evening progressed, Swaraj recounted an anecdote involving Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a former Prime Minister of India, to remind her audience of the civilizational ties that exist between India and ASEAN. She narrated how Vajpayee was surprised one time to see an Indonesian man making idols of Hanuman, a Hindu god.
तो उनका आप हनुमान जी की मूर्ति क्यों बना रहे हो? तो जवाब मिला, साहब हमने मजहब बदला है, पुरखे नहीं बदले. और अभी मैं इंडोनेशिया गई थी, मेरी जॉइंट कमीशन मीटिंग थी वहाँ की फॉरेन मिनिस्टर रत्नों के साथ. तो सब लोगों ने एक साथ कहा रिलीजन और कल्चर अलग है. रिलीजन हमारा इस्लाम है, लेकिन कल्चर आज भी पुरानी है. इस तरह से सांस्कृतिक संबंध केवल जुड़े नहीं, चालू हैं.
But there's more to India-ASEAN ties than culture or religion. As they celebrate 25 years of ties and look forward to the next 25, defense and maritime security are emerging as key focus areas.
For a long time, Thailand's foreign affairs has been focused on the land-based, area. And we, with talk of Indo-Pacific and so on, we're realizing that we have neglected, the maritime front, and we are behind others. So countries like India, Indonesia, Philippines, they can help us, strengthen our diplomacy in this area.
For India, its Act East policy is anchored in the northeastern states, all of which are landlocked and some share international borders with an ASEAN neighbor.
There are two oceans, the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, and there is this huge economic space where there is so much potential, where in fact our own goods move through these waters, 40% of our own trade, and 2/3 of world trade passes through these waters of the Indo-Pacific region. It is therefore important that this particular region remains a center of peace, prosperity, and that is where there is greater discussion about the Indo-Pacific.
As India and ASEAN rediscover their common heritage and shared future, their relations could potentially shape the security architecture in the Indo-Pacific region.
Our Prime Minister had said that Act East policy is at the core of India-ASEAN relations. And that sums up what Act East policy is all about.
General, you have the double distinction of knowing things from a military perspective and diplomatic perspective. Now, this phrase Indo-Pacific is gaining currency. What does it mean for India and the region at large?
We are only talking of India and ASEAN today.
India's handling of the Doklam standoff with China has not gone unnoticed in the ASEAN countries, some of whom have outstanding maritime disputes with China. A lot will depend, though, on how quickly India and ASEAN are able to convert opportunity into advantage. Ramesh Ramachandran, WION.